My name is Garrett Porter, and this presentation is to talk about a very real issue of safety incidents happening in our workplaces and what the best way to prevent them is. I've been working as a PR in the office for about 5 months now alongside one Toby Flenderson, and as such, I believe I have enough personal experience with the heart of the problem to come up with a solution. Because of this, I've decided to research the project, and the information I found helped me come up with a step-by-step remedy. First off, it's no secret that the Scranton branch is by no means the best organized branch in the organization, as evidenced by its shortcomings and profits for the previous years. One area where this is extremely evident is work-related safety incidents, with a total of 24 the previous year. With such a hefty number of injuries and property damages, it's a miracle the branch hasn't been shut down yet. But hopefully this plan will keep this from being necessary in the near future. First off, the short term is to figure out if there have been any recurring parties in the involvement of such incidents. There could be multiple parties involved each time. As an example, branch manager Michael Scott has had a personal hand in 18 of the 24 accidents that occurred last year, and there's no telling how many more he will cause before the end of the year. If there are any workers who have been causing regular safety concerns, it would be a wise action to let them go. The next option, which is more long-term, is to greatly renovate the safety guidelines so that they are clearer and easier to follow. However, in order for this to work, there has to be someone enforcing the rules. Otherwise, the only reason they are there is for legal protection, which, while nice, is not going to fix the problem. Employees and managers can both have a bad influence on workers. However, it is usually a different type of bad influence. For example, when an employee is slacking, it makes the entire team feel less efficient, as if they themselves are not doing the required work. As a result, it has a psychological backlash on the fellow employees. Furthermore, if the trouble students are constantly butting head with management, it can also affect the images the workers have of the management team, causing them to seem to hold less power. Obviously, none of these effects are healthy for a work environment. On a polar opposite note, faulty management can drop the team attitude even worse. If a team feels like they're working for someone who doesn't want their best interests, it can create a very depressing situation. On top of that, it causes employees to feel like the manager who isn't listening to any feedback, so it effectively puts a wall between the working class and the hierarchy. However, dropping bad management will see instant results. What with the excitement of getting a new manager coupled with finally being able to breathe, it's all in all a great feeling. With a severance fee in this case of around $50,000 over a year period, the consequences of such a firing would be very uplifting and mostly beneficial. The next step to my plan is equally important. After all, not having strong regulations can be confusing for everyone involved. It can allow for the company to be responsible for any consequences to a dangerous loophole. Such can cost a lot of money. An accident resulting from poor language in a safety regulation can be devastating for a company, resulting in a $1 million loss scenario. However, with strong regulations, a defense is much easier to mount against a money-grabbing employee, as it becomes much clearer who is liable. At the same time, it helps keep the workplace safer, as most injuries in the office occur due to either carelessness or arrogance. However, just having regulations is definitely not enough. After all, the reason for them to be easily enforceable is so that management and law can enforce them. Therefore, there are several helpful steps to keep employees and management in check around an office. For starters, having a PR representative around to help keep the company within its legal bounds helps. For areas like warehouses and construction zones, a safety advisor would not be a bad investment in order to help his or her fellow employees avoid dangerous situations. After all, a dangerous situation is a potential lawsuit waiting to happen. Keeping each employee up to date on the latest new rules will also help keep them accountable as well, which is something they desperately need. Furthermore, having clear and concise punishments and consequences laid out for anyone breaking the rules will help eliminate most careless mistakes. After all is said and done, the benefits greatly outweigh the costs. The average workplace in our branches would be very positively influenced by this quick fix. For example, removing the bad influencers from our office would be a very effective way to create a more content environment for our workers. The regulations in place would make it harder for a self-injured worker to be able to mount a legal defense against us, since our new rules would stress who is at fault for such an accident and who is not. Believe it or not, the cost of implementing the plan over a 6-month period would be just under $60,000. It seems obvious that this plan is a win.